Hey y'all, welcome back to another Aerospace Engineering Student Explains video. Today, we are looking into one of the most famous space probes and one whose story is far more nail-biting than you may have thought. I'm talking about the Voyager 2 mission to the outer planets. Before we dive into the numerous challenges that have been faced by our space probe here, we need to establish some baseline knowledge about the mission itself. Voyager 2 was a scientific, uncrewed space probe launched by NASA on August 20th, 1977. It was sent on a trajectory that would see it doing a hasty flyby of the four gas giants in our solar system: Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. It did this by using a series of gravity assists, where the gravity of one planet can redirect the trajectory of a spacecraft to send it towards the next planet. By using a planetary alignment that only occurs every 175 years, Voyager 2 was able to make its grand tour of the outer solar system. After its flyby of Neptune, Voyager 2 continued on a trajectory out of the solar system, where it is still in use today studying interstellar space. During this mission, Voyager 2 faced many challenges that are not usually discussed, so let's take a moment to look at those now. Voyager 2's difficulty started before it even got off the ground. The first problem facing Voyager 2's mission was this.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Now, you might think that the moon landing would be a super good thing for NASA and the space program as a whole. However, such a big success came with a big drawback. NASA was created and its budget granted for the purpose of beating the Soviet Union in the space race. When the moon landings happened, the USA considered the space race over, and thus public enthusiasm for space exploration waned. Politicians in Congress saw this and cut NASA's budget by a large amount to spend the money on more pressing things like building nuclear bombs and fighting foreign wars. This substantial decrease in available money led to a large number of NASA projects being canceled, right at the time when the mission that would eventually be named Voyager 2 was being proposed. As you can imagine, this was just about the worst time in NASA history to be proposing an expensive new space mission. In fact, the original planned Grand Tour mission was cancelled for this very reason. Luckily, a much simpler pair of missions just to visit Jupiter and Saturn were planned as a compromise. These two missions were eventually named Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. Now, you may be wondering what happened to visiting Uranus and Neptune. That's just it. NASA had no plans of continuing the Voyager 2 mission to the second two gas giants. At the time of the two missions' launches in 1977, NASA had only publicized that Voyager 2 would fly by Jupiter and Saturn, with the added note that a possible extended mission to Uranus could happen if everything was right after the Saturn flyby. That said, the Voyager 2 team knew that if the probe could survive long enough, Neptune would be in just the right place for them to extend the mission to complete the Grand Tour. In short, Voyager 2's Grand Tour mission nearly died before it even left the ground. But the little probe that could kept on chugging. Less than a year after launch, before it had even reached Jupiter, Voyager 2 had encountered another problem: communications. The probe had two different radio signal receivers, the primary receiver and the backup receiver. To prevent a failure of the primary receiver from ending the communications with the probe and thus ending the mission, Voyager 2 was programmed to switch from its primary receiver to its backup receiver if it hadn't received any communications from Earth for a certain period of time. In April of 1978, ground teams didn't send any communications for a while, and this emergency backup system triggered, switching the probe to its backup receiver. Soon afterwards, Voyager 2's primary receiver failed altogether. On the surface, this seems like it was pretty bad, but not mission critical. I mean, this is why we have these kind of backup systems in the first place, in case something goes wrong. There was just one problem. The backup receiver was absolutely horrible at its job. A failed capacitor in the backup receiver system left it only able to receive messages at one specific frequency. This meant that even the frequency effects caused by the rotation of the Earth through the Doppler effect would make all messages sent for mission control impossible for Voyager 2 to receive. This didn't mean the mission was lost, however. Ground control personnel found a solution. By calculating all the precise frequency effects of the Earth's rotation, receiver's temperature, velocity of the spacecraft relative to Earth, and many other things, They could adjust the frequency of the message they sent so that it would reach Voyager 2 at the correct frequency. Another close call that could have ended Voyager 2's mission right there, but the little probe that could kept on chugging. Soon after Voyager 2's Saturn flyby in 1981, another issue appeared. This one had to do with Voyager 2's scientific instruments. Most of the instruments on Voyager 2 were mounted on an arm-like device known as the scan platform. This movable science arm allowed the probe to point its instruments at certain targets of interest without moving the whole probe. The problem was that the scan platform was now seizing up. This resulted not only in a loss of data at Saturn, but also a threat to the continued mission of the spacecraft. While it is possible for Voyager 2 to rotate itself to point the instruments, this uses a lot of fuel and poses the risk of a spacecraft losing its bearings and being lost. Luckily, engineers were able to save the mission once again. By issuing a series of commands, they were able to get the scan platform mobile again, letting it resume scientific observations prior to the Uranus flyby. Although not quite as dire as the previous failure, this one could have easily ended the possibility of an extended Grand Tour mission for Voyager 2. But the little probe that could kept on chugging. The final phase of Voyager 2's mission began after its successful Neptune flyby. The combined effect of its 4 gravity assists left Voyager 2 on a trajectory away from the Sun. This extended mission phase, known as the interstellar mission, sees Voyager 2 making continued measurements as it flies away from our solar system. The mission is planned to last until the probe is unusable, whether that be from exiting our maximum communications range or some critical failure of the spacecraft systems. Believe it or not, this mission is still going on to this day, although the interstellar mission has seen many hiccups along the way. These hiccups are too numerous for me to explain in depth here, but I'll list off a few of the major ones. On November 29, 2006, a random failure during communications resulted in the heaters for the spacecraft magnetometer being turned on. These then weren't turned back off until December, which resulted in damage to the instrument. On April 22, 2010, Voyager 2 encountered data formatting problems eventually revealed to be caused by a flipped bit in the spacecraft's memory, which was corrected soon after. On July 21, 2023, a programming error misaligned Voyager 2's high-gain antenna by 2 degrees away from Earth, leaving it unable to communicate with the ground. Eventually, a very high-power shout from a ground station was able to reach the probe and command it to reorient correctly. Over time, Voyager 2's RTG power source has been degraded, leading to numerous instruments being shut down to meet the dwindling power supply. Numerous attitude control thruster failures have left Voyager 2 without any redundancy, meaning any more failures will likely end the mission. It's astounding that Voyager 2 has lasted 49 years and still has life left in it. This incredible feat would never have been possible without the immense effort of all of the people who worked tirelessly to design and run the probe for the last half-century. Thank you all for your hard work and perseverance. Let us all hope to see our little probe that could keep on chugging.